Everyone, this is Laura with Laura Academic Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for February 17th through the 23rd, 2020. So on the 18th, which is Tuesday, we have the Sun moving into the sign of Pisces. So in general, wherever the Sun is, it's just kind of generally what the themes for the month will be and kind of what to explore on a very general, basic level. So Pisces is a water sign, and water signs are all about emotions, feelings, and soulfulness. And so this is a time really to explore the depths of our emotions, of our compassion. Pisces is all about forgiveness, specifically our dreams, what we idealize. And it's also what's called a mutable sign, meaning that it's the end of a season, and so we're entering the end of winter finally. And so there's this kind of adaptable, flexible quality as well that Pisces really embodies. So forgiveness, compassion. There's also empathy. Pisces rules over dreams, including dreams of like at nighttime when you're sleeping. Creativity, it can be kind of a moody time, so a little bit up and down in terms of your emotions. So this is just a time the Sun is asking us to explore meaning, our emotional depths, and forgiveness, all of those Piscean themes. So that's on Tuesday. The 19th, which is Wednesday, we have Jupiter in Capricorn making a sextile to Neptune in Pisces. This isn't like a super huge transit or anything. I'm just going to touch on it, but it's just kind of a sweet, dreamy day, romantic, inspiring. Just a good day to spend time with loved ones, and it's just a generally good feeling day. I'm not going to really go into much detail about that. On the 20th, the moon will be kind of passing, it'll be in Capricorn and passing over Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius. And so this will be more of an emotionally intense day. Good day to dive into your emotions, into your depths, maybe going to a therapy appointment if you have that available to you, some self-exploration. Could be a sense of feeling alone or isolated or sad. But this, the moon makes this transit every month, so it's nothing super huge, but I thought I would mention it. On February 21st, which is Friday, we have Mars in Capricorn making a trine to Uranus in Taurus. So trines are very supporting, flowing aspects, generally bringing positive things. And Mars is really strong in Capricorn. Mars is a really fiery planet, and it usually wants to take action quickly and wants to be productive and wants to get things done. And it can be a little impulsive on its own, but with Capricorn as the sign that's kind of holding the reins on Mars's energy, it turns into this very productive, slower, methodical, structured way of getting things done, or your pace in the world. Mars and Capricorn can also be a bit traditional. Capricorn in general is traditional. And Uranus speaks to that which is untraditional or different or out there or unusual. So this is really about shaking up the status quo. Innovation, potentially learning new technology. Uranus rules over technology. It could be finally feeling inspired to be productive, but inspired to do something that is out of your norm. A breakthrough of sorts in terms of what you truly desire in a very authentic way. Being empowered to do as you want, or doing what feels most authentic. It could also be a good day to spend in nature, spend outside. Taurus and Capricorn are both earth signs, and so it could be a time to go rough it on a backpacking trip or a hiking trip, or something where you're doing something out of your normal schedule. And that might require some planning, you know. But in general, innovation, shaking up the status quo, doing something different out of your norm, learning something new, taking a risk. I mean, you're supported in the risk taking. So it's definitely a good time to start something that maybe you've been hesitant to start. I mean, the cosmos is on your side on this day. So that's February 21st. Oh, and also this is happening in the early degrees of Taurus and Capricorn. And so if you have planets in the early degrees of any of the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, or Scorpio, you might be feeling this strongly. Or if you have early degrees in the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra. And you know, that totally depends on what planets are there, what house that's in for you, all of these factors, as you all know. So that's on Friday the 21st. Let's see, it's kind of a Uranian weekend coming up because on February 22nd, which is a Saturday, we have the sun making a sextile to Uranus. It's kind of like all of those themes are coming back up, or kind of being sustained. You know, these are similar themes of being authentic, not being afraid to be different or be yourself, kind of like let your freak flag fly type of energy. So that's Saturday. The Sunday, February 23rd, this is kind of a big day. Sundays have been a big day recently. We're going to have a new moon in Pisces on this day, and actually the moon will also be making that sextile to Uranus, so that basically the new moon will be sextiling Uranus, and new moon in Pisces, once again bringing in those Piscean themes of compassion, forgiveness, soulfulness, creativity, dreams. You know, this is a really good new moon for setting intentions for what you dream of, what your vision is, what you're inspired by, or kind of like what is it that you want to create in this world. And especially with that sextile to Uranus, what is it that you want to create that is totally unique to you, that is authentic, that might be a little bit different. Maybe in the past you've been afraid to set an intention for this or even bring it to your awareness. So, you know, this is kind of a benign new moon, meaning it's not going to cause any damage. It's not, there's not any like hard aspects to it. It's got the nice sextile to Uranus. So, I mean, Pisces is also about letting go. I mean, it's a water sign, letting go and imagining what we can create. It's a very much about imagination, creation, and imagination. What I mean by that is kind of like envisioning or imagining what could be, and then it's not as good at making that happen, but that's where some of the earthier signs come in as to making what we dream of a reality. So, I mean, but you need dreams first before you can actually put the work in to make it real, right? I mean, dreams kind of laid the groundwork for what we want. So anyway, we also have a square between Venus in Aries and Jupiter in Capricorn. And so squares between two benefic planets, so these are both positive planets in terms of like they usually don't bring too much damage. And squares are of the nature of Mars, so they can bring conflict or tension or something that's just stressful even. But squares between two benefics, between Venus and Jupiter, it's not going to be really that bad. I mean, the main thing is like what I think of as unreciprocated generosity. Unreciprocated, that's the word. I mean, these two planets are both very generous. Jupiter is probably the most generous planet in the zodiac. And Venus wants to unite and wants to attract and wants to be accommodating and, helpful and make people feel good. And Jupiter as a planet wants to welcome everyone in. There's always enough for one more. There's more than enough for everyone. That's kind of Jupiter's mantra. The only thing is that both of these planets are in their fall, meaning Venus is in Aries, and she can't necessarily accomplish what she would normally accomplish if she were in her own sign in Aries, because Aries wants to separate as a general theme, and Venus wants to unite. Same thing with Jupiter and Capricorn. Jupiter wants to expand and grow, and Capricorn wants to restrict and limit. And really the theme with Jupiter and Capricorn, or what Capricorn kind of wants to teach us through Jupiter, is how containment can really support longer term success, and how the importance of discernment and limits in terms of sustaining our enthusiasm or what we're passionate about. And so they're really, boundaries. Saturn and Capricorn are all about boundaries. And sometimes our generosity or our passion needs boundaries. We need limits in order to contain them so that it's sustainable. And Venus and Aries can teach us kind of a similar lesson. Sometimes Venus as a general planet can be overly accommodating, overly wanting to please and keep the peace, and can really struggle with boundaries because it's so concerned with being a good host to other people. And Aries, being ruled by Mars, the god of war, wants to sever and cut away. And so Venus and Aries is really teaching us about independence and about how we can keep the peace while also being true to who we are and putting number one first. I mean, Aries is all about me, about you as an individual, whereas Venus is about us, about we as a couple. And so, it's a good lesson that with Venus and Aries is we can't always keep the peace, Sometimes keeping the peace is harmful, and we need to be the warrior and stand up for ourselves and, have our shield and sword ready to fight, So there are limits to what the benefics can do on their own and in their own signs, and sometimes being in their opposite signs can be lessons for us in general. And once again, the square between the two, it might be Venus and Aries, it might be that you want to do something nice for someone, but it's just not received, or it wasn't quite what they wanted, or maybe you give too much, a little bit too much, and you're met with kind of ungratefulness. So it's kind of those themes that will pop up with the square between Venus and Jupiter. Let's see, what else do I have? So something else to be careful of is definitely be careful of things too good to be true, of spending too much money, Venus ruling over finances and money, of over-idealizing. There could be tension or conflict between wanting to buddy up with someone too quickly even. Aries can be really impulsive. Every sign has both negative and positive qualities, but one of the negative qualities of Aries is it can be a little bit impulsive and wanting to, Venus and Aries could be wanting to be in relationship too quickly even. While Jupiter and Capricorn is putting brakes on things in terms of whoa, slow down. So there could just be some inner conflict or tension there. Also depending on where this is playing out in your chart, sometimes the planets are played out by other people in our lives. They don't, if we don't embody the energy, or it's not showing up inside of us or in our psyche, other people show up in our lives with the energy so that we experience it regardless. And it's all, it's so that we can learn and continue growing. It's not just to be mean. So, just watch out for those themes. And, if you know where Aries and Capricorn are in your chart, you can kind of see where this potentially would be showing up in your life. So that is the week of February 17th through the 23rd. Let me know how it goes for you in the comments. And I will be back next week for another update. All right, bye.